Good evening. No, I never start my videos like that. But how's it going, boys and girls? Hope you guys have been great. Hope you guys have had an amazing week. Just wanted to hop on here. I do have some things I want to share with you. I'm gonna get consistent again. I know everybody freaking bombarding me of like, yo, you're only uploading once a month. What is up with that? I'm trying, bro. Like I said, I deal with the imposter syndrome. I'm a 20-year-old baby, so sometimes I think I have nothing to share, but I got you guys. So I have something here for this week and kind of what I learned in the past 5 to 6 days since the last time I uploaded, and I've just kind of derived a term, and it's just kind of allowing yourself to dig deeper as an individual. I don't know if any of you guys have kind of realized, but there's just a big difference between how people are thinking from the 1950s to the 1960s, 70s, 80s, so on and so forth. The way that they looked at the world versus the way that us modern people would look at the world is completely different. And honestly, I can argue that it's much worse in terms of that it just lacks the philosophical depth that is needed to even have a reason to live, because some of us are living on such a surface level that life just seems so meaningless. And that's sad to see, because I used to be at that stage in my life as well. I can also see there's a whole bunch of other kids my age, a couple years older, that struggle with that kind of mindset as well, the surface level thinking, right? So the first thing to kind of understand here about allowing yourself to dig deeper and how you can allow yourself to not live on the damn surface, because it's not fun at all, is to understand that you're always getting input in life. From the moment that you lift your head up the pillow to the moment that you rest it back, you're constantly getting input. Even if it's quiet in your car, if it's quiet in your school, there's always some sort of input that you're getting, right? Either it's the sound of your car accelerating, or it's the sound of your pants scruffling when you walk up the stairs. That is some sort of input. There is some sort of auditorial cue. But the biggest thing to understand when receiving the input and how to allow yourself to dig deeper is, how are you processing that input? And I was kind of able to understand that there's 3 different levels to understanding any kind of auditorial input that you're getting, spiritual input that you're getting, physical input that you're getting. What else is there? Or visual input that you're getting. So the first thing to understand, the 3 levels is surface level, acknowledgement level, and the dissection level. And the surface level thinking is just anything that happens in life, bro. You're driving your car, and the faster you press on the gas, the faster you go. That's surface level thinking. Oh yeah, my car's getting louder because I'm going faster. That's surface level. Then the acknowledgement level is you saying, okay, the reason that my car is going faster is because I'm using more gas, I'm pressing on the foot pedal harder, my timing belt is speeding more, and the pistons are rocking back and forth. And that's kind of the more acknowledgement. And then the dissection level is like, okay, you're thinking about all the intra components of the vehicle, and then you're also thinking of the speed limit. Then you're also thinking of the cars in your vicinity, making sure you don't crash into them. So there's like surface level, acknowledgement, and dissection. You need to make sure that you're living kind of in the middle. Obviously, living in the dissection level can kind of be looked at as overanalyzation, and that is just not productive at all. So it's just kind of, it's good to understand that you have these 3 levels. And what's sad to see is that a lot of people have an inability to even be on the surface level, to even be present, because they're so far in their phones, they're so far in these worldly pleasures, and they're not necessarily doing anything productive with their life. And that inability, the inability to live on any of these levels, or especially live on the dissection level, comes from, again, the concept that I derived in one of my old videos called mental castration. And if you're living with a castrated mind, you're constantly just, living in social media, you're scrolling, you're consuming mindless content. And we've come to a stage in life now that we can't get rid of social media. No matter what, social media is what it is. We make money on that. We make friends there. We build connections. Social media is who we are, and we're just kind of waiting until we actually jump into the screen, and then our world becomes immersed, or we become immersed into the technology. So that's one thing we have to keep in mind. But social media is not going away. So then what do you have to do? You have to cater your feed. You have to cater what you're consuming. Make sure that content is something that isn't mindless, but something that's kind of feeding your soul, because your algorithm is always something that's going to be pouring into you. It's going to be pouring in ideologies, pouring in ideologies, or anything that's going to just fuck up your brain. And you just want to make sure your mind is pure. So first step there, and to understand the inability behind that, is to dissect your social media. Make sure your social media feed is something that is, uplifting you and pushing you forward. Because I remember just for the past couple months, bro, literally from mid-February to about mid-March, I wasn't really locked in that much. Like, I was just kind of coasting through life. And then I looked Like my results in life were in direct proportion or in direct correlation with my Instagram feed or my Snapchat feed or my YouTube algorithm. Like there was freaking Kai Cenat videos popping up on my screen rather than other, YouTubers who are doing good things, whether that be in sales, business, self-improvement, or just whatever kind of endeavor that they're in. So then I realized, shoot, the results are showing, bro. I'm mindless. I can't really, handle sales objections as fast as I want to. I'm not making as much money. I'm not closing as much deals. Things are just off. Things are just off, bro. It's because I was living with a castrated mind. And it happens from time to time, bro, because sometimes you get a little bit afraid of the existential world and you get afraid of the wisdom that lies beneath those books, beneath those deep videos. So then you just, choose to watch the entertainment. And I understand that because I'm not the only one who does it. You're not the only one who does it. I've struggled with that as well. And there's even people that are, high ultra network individuals, even like people like Hamza or people like Iman, who still struggle with scrolling. So if those individuals are struggling with scrolling, of course you are, bro. Of course you are. So there's nothing to really be ashamed of there. Okay. But the other reason why you struggle to live on the dissection level or even just dig deeper is because you lack care. You lack care for the deep realities of the world. You lack care for life. You lack care for problem solving. You're just brushing off reality itself. And if you just don't care to dig deeper about the life lessons that life throws at you, if you don't care to dig deeper about what life is throwing at you, bro, then you're just another sheep. You're just another sheep that's going to be guided to whatever ideology is thrown at him, and I don't want that to be you. And I don't want it to be you, man, because I've been through that. And I've seen other people too who just subscribe to these ideologies so fast and so quickly. And look where they end up. There's nothing about it, bro. There's nothing there. They can't have any conversations. There's just no depth to them. There's no depth to them whatsoever. So you need to stop operating with a castrated mind, and you need to start caring. Start caring about your daily input. Start caring about how you're processing that information. Stop processing it on a surface level, because the more you process it on a surface level, the less you're going to get out of it. And you're just going to, go through life 10 years, 20 years, 30 years and just have nothing to show for it. And you may ask, like, Gadaka, what do you mean? You're not even at that stage in life. I've talked to those people at 30 or 40 or 50. They have all this life experience, but the pages are fucking empty, bro. They haven't even gathered anything. They didn't even have the ability to pick up a pen and document a single year of their life. So I just don't want that to be you. Start thinking on a deeper level. Another thing I want to touch on in regards to you, being able to dig deeper and having 3 levels of thinking, that's also something that ties into sales or regular conversations. Like if you're having surface level conversations with an individual, it's just going to get boring. You're not going to see any progress in that relationship, or you're not going to see any progress in that sale. And there's one thing that I've learned here at the dealership, even though I've only been there for like 5 months now. The one thing that I'm learning is that the better salesmen are the ones who ask the most questions. Why are you here to buy a car today? Oh, I just need a 5-seater SUV. Oh, why 5 seats? Do you have kids? How old are the kids? Are they growing up? Do you need more than that? Do you even need a 5-seater if one of the teenagers are going to be getting their own car soon? There's a whole bunch of other things that you need to learn how to dig deeper in the sale, dig deeper in the client, in the customer, or in the relationship. And that's the multifaceted concept of understanding that there's 3 different levels of thinking. And if you're just a surface level thinker, you're not going to make much money. You're not going to develop genuine relationships, or you're not going to have good conversations. Even when I was in a freaking pyramid scheme and I was trying to get people into that business, bro, the one thing I had to learn was like, how do I get to know this individual? I would hop on the bus, I would talk to people, I'd shake their hand, and I'd have to go right beneath surface level right away and just ask some outlandish ass questions like, how much do you think this bus costs? And then they would go on their phone, search it up, and then we'd see, damn, like, you think the government spends this much money on all these buses? That's crazy. Why do they tax us so much? And then you just go so far into there and like, oh, did you realize this person's struggling for money? Okay, you should join my business, become financially free. That's how I got people into my pyramid scheme, bro. It was perfect. It was perfect. But that's one thing you need to understand. Like, so these 3 levels, surface level, acknowledgement level, and dissection level, these can be intertwined between, you thinking philosophically about your whole life experience and what you're seeing, or it could be in conversations with females, conversations with people at work, or conversations with potential customers and prospects for your business. So that's just something that you should keep in mind. So next, I'm going to touch on how you need, like, what you need to do to start digging deeper. Okay, and just the number one thing is that you need to acquire more knowledge. I've touched on this in my last video about, like, the only reason that you're depressed is because you have a lack of knowledge. The reason why you're sad is because you have a lack of knowledge, or the reason why you feel like you don't want to be here is because you have a lack of knowledge. You're having all these anxieties and these existential crises because you can't even grasp reality itself. You can't grasp the big understanding of the world. But the more knowledge that you acquire, the more reference points that you'll gain. You'll understand why you're feeling this emotion, why you're feeling that, why that person is acting to you in that manner, and why that person isn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's what more knowledge will get you. You acquire more knowledge, you'll have just more understanding. More wisdom, the better. And people are afraid of wisdom because, of course, the more wisdom, the sadder you are. But now I'm realizing that you have to make sure that your wisdom is deriving from the right place. And then, like I had a cup of coffee with my homie the other day, and there's something that I've had to kind of take onto myself as well. That I've delved so much deep. I've delved really deep into wisdom elsewhere than places I should. And the main place that I should be getting my wisdom is the Bible. And sometimes I go to other books and I'm reading all this stuff. And yes, you know, those quotes that are in the book do derive from the Bible, but it really isn't the source. And that's just kind of one thing that I've been struggling with. And that's why I have a fear of wisdom, because in some cases it's not God's wisdom. And I don't think God's wisdom or the wisdom from the Bible is something that should scare you. And that's something that has prevented me from being able to open that book some days and some nights. So one thing I want to encourage you to do is to make sure you're getting your wisdom from the right sources, because some wisdom is going to allow you to understand the world to such a deep degree that you're just going to cause fear. It's going to cause fear in you. Like I read 48 Laws of Power, and I even work with a guy who read 48 Laws of Power too, and he said that when he first read it, he just started to think that everybody was out to get him. The whole world was out to get him. Every person he encountered was a backbiting, malevolent snake. But that's just not the case. Yes, you need to understand that there's people like that who do exist in the world, but it's not every single individual. So you got to be able to discern what kind of wisdom you're intaking and then how it applies to different aspects of your life. And it may sound simple, but again, why don't you do it? Simple as that, bro. You need to understand how to gather your wisdom from the right sources, or you're just going to forever be lost. And then the next way to start digging deeper is to ask more questions, bro. You need to tap back into that childlike curiosity or that childlike creativity, and just ask more questions. Like I know you'd be driving downtown and you wonder how they built that building, or you wonder how that crane is standing there 400 feet in the fucking air. Research it. You have a supercomputer in your goddamn hands. I don't know why you wouldn't leverage it to gain more knowledge. Whether it just be a quick Google search and you read the first link, you now have a little bit more knowledge. You ask more questions, you figure out the answer to that question. Now you can apply it to more conversations. You can apply it to more reference points in your life. And this applies to everything, again, from sales to conversations to dating to conversations with females, whatever it may be. You need to have some sort of depth to you, because I won't lie, man, females are attracted to depth. And this, like having a little bit of depth to you, whether that be attached to your religion, whether that be somebody who can actually have deep intellectual and brain stimulating conversations, this is going to build your attraction level a little bit more once you have a little bit of depth to you. Because as a most women want a foundation. They want something in a man, something that they can kind of stand on. And if you're living on the surface, bro, they're just going to walk away because you're boring. There's nothing there. You don't want to be a surface level man. And I'm sure a couple of my female audiences, like female people who are watching, can agree with that. If not, let me know. But you need a little bit of depth, and that's why some musical artists are attracted. That's why musical artists, people who raps, play guitar, play piano, whatever it may be, that's why they kind of attract women on a different level, because it's like those people are able to articulate their feelings through music and rhythmic patterns. And that's just something that's so deep. And even bro, I would pull down my pants for Drake. I'm not even kidding, bro. Yeah, you may call it gay, whatever. You do your thing, bro. I'm not even kidding, because that's a different level of attraction. That's a different level of depth that a man has. And if you can even tap into 50, 60, 70% of that depth, in your own field, in your own niche, then you're going to be miles ahead of your peers. You're going to be miles ahead of anybody else who's 19, who's 20, who's 21. So you need to understand how to build a little bit of depth for yourself. So those are kind of the main things. And I just to kind of encapsulate this whole video, I know it's kind of all over the place, but just simply understand that you're always receiving input in life. And the biggest thing that comes down to that input is, how are you processing it? On the surface, are you just acknowledging it, or are you dissecting it? And if you're not living on the dissection level from time to time to time, then you're missing out on the joys of being able to swim through philosophical endeavors and having philosophical conversations. You're also missing out on the joy of having stimulating conversations with your prospects, with your future girlfriend, your future wife, or just your family members in general. And I wouldn't want you to miss out on that pleasure. And that's why I spend time to help you understand how I'm thinking and how I've gotten out of my mental health ruts of not being able to process information or wanting to freaking end my life because I didn't understand the world. I didn't understand reality itself. And to some degree, I still don't. I'm only 20. So I'm just scared of what's going to lie when I'm 30, 40, 50, because I'll probably want to off myself because of how much I'll be fucking thinking. So I just want you to understand that. I don't want you to miss out on that joy. And I want you to be able to dig deeper, brother. So thank you for watching. Love you guys. Start off tomorrow strong, G. Peace.